All right, welcome back to Unleash, the most legit Celtics podcast in the game. We got a video podcast today, so if you are listening on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts, head over to youtube.com, search Guy Boston Sports, and you will find this episode video version. A little behind the scenes, peeling back the curtain. A huge portion of our listens come from Apple Podcasts, which is totally fine. That's where I check all the time. But there's that missing video portion out there that we've only done a couple times and we've gotten awesome feedback for. So we're doing it again, and we're going to try and do it a little bit more and more. We got to spice things up with this quarantine. We can't just do the same old thing. We got to spice it up because we're running out of stuff to talk about. But we are giving Celtics player grades today. I know people like to talk about this around the trade deadline and around All-Star break or whenever you want, but I never did that. I never made a show about it. So I figured, all right, I kind of saved it in my back pocket. Now we have this quarantine, and the NBA is on absolute pause. No Celtics content to actually talk about. So we're doing Celtics player grades, and we're breaking them out by just segments. So the first one we're doing today is Brad Wanamaker, Grant Williams, and Semi Ojeleye, or Semi Ojeleye. So, yes, I will do the Kembas. I will do the Jason Tatums and the Gordon Haywards and Jaylen Browns. Those will come. You got to get through the meat before you get to the potatoes. I think that made sense. But we're going to jump right into it. Brad Wanamaker is the first name on our list. And Brad Wanamaker, I tweeted this out. I said, grade these players just to get a feel for what Celtics Nation and the NBA world is thinking. Tweeted out Brad Wanamaker, Grant Williams, and Semi Ojeleye. We're going to start with Brad Wanamaker here. Brad Wanamaker got the most Fs I have ever seen. If you, Celtics Nation, were to be Brad Wanamaker's teacher or professor, he's flunking out immediately, which I don't totally agree with. If you've been a fan of the show or listener to the show for a while now, you know that I want nothing to do with Brad Wanamaker. I don't like Brad Wanamaker. I call him Brad Stinky Maker. But to give him an F, I saw one guy give him an F-. Not even a grade that exists. And then there's a couple funny ones like G's for put him in the G League, EU to put him in Europe. But my grade for Brad Wanamaker, and oh my God, it pains me to put him in this range. I'm putting him in the B range, B- for Brad Wanamaker. I wanted him to be in the C range. As of late, based on the most recent Celtics games we've seen, Brad Wanamaker deserves to be like a C- based on how he's played. But we're taking the entire assortment of the season into account here. We can't just disregard the fact that, you know what, early on in the year, Brad Wanamaker was pretty dependable. He wasn't crazy good, but he wasn't crazy bad. He was crazy Brad. He wasn't crazy bad. He was the type of guy that, you didn't want to bring in, but when you brought in, he wasn't hurting you. As of late, I feel like that's completely flipped. It's gone ass backwards. He is now 100% a guy that you bring in my opinion, feel like hurts you, because all of a sudden, too, he's gotten this, like, selfish vibe to him. Like, he wants to shoot or take layups all the time. He's not making the right decisions. It's like he's kind of gotten to his head a little bit. Finally, he's playing some minutes. He's averaging just under 20 minutes a game, which is absolutely crazy to me. You're not a contending team if Brad Stinky Maker is playing 19.3 minutes per game. Oh my God. I hate saying that out loud. But I feel like it's gone to his head. Now he's like, oh, well, I own the second unit. I'm going to go and score. Brad Wanamaker, as of late, has completely gone ass backwards. I don't even see the value with him anymore. I don't believe that the Celtics can be a championship team if Brad Wanamaker is their backup point guard. All right? Now, like I said, based on the recent games, he deserves a C-, maybe even a D+. Like, I have been so cold on this guy. But Brad Stevens seems to constantly just be in love with him. I don't understand it. Same name, maybe? Brad. Oh, I love you, Brad. It doesn't make sense to me because they have other options. Give Carson Edwards a chance. Make sure the rotation, if you're not going to go with the Carson Edwards strategy, make sure that you're just never taking out or never having no Marcus Smart, no Jason Tatum, no Hayward, or no Kemba on the floor at once. And guess what? That sounds so easy. Brad Stevens does it all the time where none of those core 4 guys or core 5 guys throwing Jaylen Brown are on the floor. You know what I mean? If you need to rely on Brad Wanamaker to be your best scorer on the floor, then something needs to change. And my theory, I've said it before, I've said it plenty of times. Give Carson Edwards the shot. Every game, give him a shot. You're going to be able to tell if he's on or off but at least he'll start to build confidence. If he's off, sure. What's the worst case scenario? You just go back to what you're doing now. But you're not trying anything. And it's a similar take that I've had with Isaiah Thomas, bringing IT back to Boston. Yeah, no kidding. He might not work out. Maybe he's not the same player we had. But what's there to lose? If Isaiah Thomas doesn't work out one game, you just bring Brad Wanamaker back in. It's not rocket science to me. And I don't want to get down the trail of adding a bench player, giving Carson Edwards a shot. This is a player's grade podcast and video. But I did want to make it clear that I just don't see the need for Brad Wanamaker. And he's one of the guys, like all three of the guys we're talking about, Brad Wanamaker, Grant Williams, and Semi Ojeleye. And Grant Williams kind of gets to skate by here because he is a rookie, which is totally fair. But those guys are very valuable. You just can't rely or depend on them. And that's what it is. When you're playing Brad Wanamaker 19 minutes a night, you're depending on him, which I don't like that. If you're playing him 7 minutes a night, 9 minutes a night, sure, he's going to give you valuable minutes. But when you play him more and more, the mistakes come out and you start to see, okay, this guy cannot be playing this allotment of minutes. All right, so the unleashed official grade of Brad Wanamaker is, unfortunately, and when I say unfortunately, I mean I wish it was lower because I have been on the hate train for him lately. B- so far in the season. Will we get back? I don't know, but B-, and it's damn close to a C+. But as of late, you take the last, 20 games of the season, he's damn close to a D, never mind a B. So there's the first one. We're talking Grant Williams next. Let me know on Twitter if you agree with these takes. Brad Wanamaker, B-. Based on what I saw, based on the poll I took, based on the feelers I put out there, yikes. You guys do not agree with that. But I think we got to be realistic. I think we can't let our recency bias take over. And Brad Wanamaker overall had some quality output earlier on in the year. But Grant Williams we're getting into next, which I know is a guy that's beloved by Celtics fans. And I don't see it yet. I've said at every turn, I don't know what the love for this guy is. I think it's all the antics that he pulled prior to the season, making Boston love him. But I'll be honest, I don't knock the kid either. So when I say I don't see the love, I don't see the affection, I just haven't jumped on that train yet. I do still think, and I said it on my show, I said it on KJ Doyle's podcast, The Wicked Smart Sports Guys, go check it out. I said people are trying to like Grant Williams. They're looking for him to do something good. And then when he does, you give him a little golden star and say, good job, Grant. Fine, he's a rookie, I get it. You want them to be a good player, right? But based on what we've seen, I don't understand how some people could give Grant Williams a B+. I was seeing a B+. Do you know what the next grade is? An A-. You think Grant Williams is that close to an A caliber season based on expectations? I don't see it. And I mean, hey, everyone's like, oh, well, I didn't have any expectations. Well, you did because you already loved this kid before he even came in and played a game. The interviews he was giving, the sound bites he was giving reporters and the media, you loved this kid. So you had expectations. Based on how he was talking, oh, I want to be a great, I love playing for a team like this, all the banners and whatnot, then that guy should be an impactful player right away. And I'm not saying he's not, but I don't like the people saying, based on expectations, Grant Williams has really blown me away. Don't tell me you had zero expectations for Grant Williams. You wouldn't like Grant Williams or love Grant Williams as much as you do right now if you had zero expectations for him. Everyone that loves Grant Williams already had a preconceived love for him prior to the year, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All of his sound bites, him saying that his mom works for NASA, so he knows Kyrie's wrong, that just jolted green juice into the veins of Boston fans. And me too. I loved it. I loved the kid. I loved what he was saying, but I was like, I'm going to be realistic here. I'm going to watch what he's doing. He makes a lot of bonehead plays. He tries to flop sometimes, and he's not as good as Marcus Smart at it. And you can't score. You can't shoot. I haven't seen it from him yet. Now, this last few minutes probably sounds like I'm really, really shitting on Grant Williams. And I've done it before. It's I get down this rabbit hole of trying to talk about Grant Williams, and I'm sounding like I'm shitting on him. I do hope Grant Williams is a stud. Whether it's at the end of this year, come playoff time, next year, in a couple years. I like Grant Williams, but that's the key word. So I get it. You guys are going to love him. You want to give him a accolade or a cookie or a gold star every time he does something good. When he gets a rebound or he boxes out really good or he sets a hard screen, that's his job. You don't need to reward him for it. He's just doing what he's good at. So let's pump the brakes here. My official grade for Grant Williams, B-. And just the B pluses I saw one guy give him an A based on expectations, but that's just an anomaly. And then there was nothing below a B for Grant Williams. Now, there might be now. This is at the time of recording. There's nothing below a B for Grant Williams that I can recall. A B? What has Grant Williams really done? Ugh, it drives me nuts. That's the Jay Crowder effect or Jonas Jerebko at the time. Like, guys that we just love because they're in green. And I'm so guilty of it. Are you kidding me? Grant Williams just hasn't done it for me yet, and this is all based on how impactful to the season they have been. Remember that. This isn't let's grade the guy and his on-court performance. No, this is very much a mix of what they've meant to the team, I guess emotionally, what they've meant to the team actually on the court, based on the minutes they're getting. Grant Williams is averaging 3.5 points and 2.5 rebounds a game. He's playing 15 minutes a game, though. I think that's kind of high. Similar situation to Brad Wanamaker. I don't think this team, now Grant Williams, again, a couple years from now can be good. I'm not knocking that. But Grant Williams, a rookie playing 15.6 minutes a game, I don't like the sound of that. I don't think you're a championship caliber team as a Grant Williams rookie playing 16 minutes a game. Is that fair? Take everything I've said, say, all right, you know what? He's crazy. He's clearly a Grant Williams hater, which I'm not, but I can't really deny it right now. I kind of sound like it. Just take this little nugget. 16 minutes a game, rookie Grant Williams is just too much. If that's the hill I have to die on, that's the hill I'll die on. But all the other stuff I said, too, I do believe. I just think that he's kind of loved, and, Celtics Nation really wants him to be good. So they got a close eye on him and seem to ignore the bad stuff and really focus in on the good stuff. Moving on to Semi Ojeleye. This is tough. I had a 2-week period where I absolutely hated Semi. And I'm going to call him Semi. I'm sorry. I can't say Shemi. If you think Shemi rolls off the tongue, Shemi. Ugh. Semi Ojeleye. I mean, it's spelled S-E-I. It's not. It's spelled S-E-M-I. Good job, Ev. If you think that sounds like Shemi, I don't know. I mean, it is because that's his name, but I'm sticking with Semi. Nonetheless, Semi Ojeleye, at one point, there was a couple-week stretch where I was like, this guy stinks. Why are we playing him? He stinks. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Whew. I'm kind of on the Semi train now. I'm on the Semi truck train. Semi Ojeleye has kind of turned it around for me. He's the one guy that I have sort of started to see a turnaround in his game. Semi Ojeleye, in my book, B player this year. And I hated him at a time. So the fact that he is coming back from this in terms of what I was thinking of him, I mean, good for him, because I would have given Semi Ojeleye, you ask me, back in December? I don't even know in these shows where I did 2 podcasts in a row pretty much hating on him, and then I'd throw in the disclaimer, I'm just using him as an example. But clearly there was a Semi up my ass about him because I was pissed. Just at how he was playing. I thought he was doing too much. I thought they were relying on him too much. As of late, I haven't seen, especially the eye test, Semi Ojeleye seemingly gets in there, does his job, and gets out. Especially that Cleveland game. I think he had 20-plus points, his career high. Semi Ojeleye's been great as of late. In fact, let me pull it up here. In his last 4 games, he's averaged 9 points a game, 5 rebounds. It's showing that Semi Ojeleye is getting better and better, which we've seen him perform in the playoffs on the biggest stage. We've seen him cover LeBron. We've seen him lock up Giannis. So Semi Ojeleye is proven to me. When I talk about Brad Wanamaker and I shit on him, he hasn't proven anything to me. Grant Williams, obviously it's no fault of his own, hasn't proven anything to me. Semi Ojeleye, we know he has it in him. And when people wanted to talk about, is it going to be Javonte Green or is it going to be Semi Ojeleye that makes the roster? They both made it, and somehow they're both kind of playing an amount. Semi obviously more than Javonte Green. So right now it's almost just like the glove fits. Semi Ojeleye seems to be playing well in the minutes he's getting. With the defense he brings something else to the table that I don't think a lot of guys on the bench do. You know what I mean? Think about when this starting lineup's going to be healthy. You're going to have Semi Ojeleye and Marcus Smart off the bench. That's pretty good in terms of tone setting, physicality setting. Semi Ojeleye, flat B. Not a B minus, but a B, and he would have been lower a few weeks back. So just like Brad Wanamaker went the opposite way, Semi Ojeleye kind of stepped it up. So those are the 3 grades there. We have a B- and a B- for Brad Wanamaker and Grant Williams. And then the best of the bunch, in my opinion, Semi Ojeleye. So let me know what you think of those grades. And we will be doing another 3 next. I'm going to keep that a secret, but we'll throw in 1 star. I'll promise you that. One of those core 4, we'll throw in one of those for the next episode. And yeah, we're continuing to chug along here without having Celtics basketball to talk about. We're getting creative. We're getting putting our school hat on and doing some gradings and giving out some report cards. So Brad Wanamaker, Grant Williams, Semi Ojeleye, you have 24 hours to have your parents sign that and get it back to me.